Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to your second semifinal for the Asia. It's LGD Gaming, the Chinese roster, not the international one, for anyone who's confused about that, facing off against MiTH Trust, the surprise from Thailand, a team that has been around longer than almost anyone else in Southeast Asia and has been very stable at that. We didn't see them at the international too, but they have been a presence for a long time. And here they are. They made their way into this match. The brackets, we'll take a look at them now. It is MUFC versus Orange, which was already played. The winner of that was MUFC. They're in the grand finals. It's a best out of one format for the semifinals. And the third, fourth place match, only the grand finals are best out of three. The winner of this match moves on to face MUFC in a best out of three. So at least the grand finals won't be that one shot and you're out. It is a very unforgiving format. I'm LD, and I'm joined here today by Bulba of Team Liquid. How you doing, Sam?
How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I got some sleep.
Here.
I was supposed to cast Starladder earlier today, and I just slept. But that's good, because Shiver's a great caster.
Well, I heard your energy. I mean, at that last second, I heard it. When the Sanking hit the stun on the Darkseer, you're like, are you kidding me? We said it. So
someone said yesterday, I don't say that enough. And a lot of other people hate that I say it, so I don't know. I thought it was worth it there. You don't troll the chat, because the last time, well, one of the last times you cast with it, you had the entire chat going apeshit with "Are you kidding me?" And now they're gonna do it because we talked about it. But here we are, LGD versus MiTH Trust. It's a best out of one, so it's one shot, you're out. And what do you think about the draft that we're seeing so far from these teams?
this is really this is actually MiTH Trust banned both of Siler's kind of signature heroes right now, both the Lone Druid and the Syllabur. But in the process, they take that, but they trade arguably two of the other god tier heroes right now in China, which is both NA and Mag.
Do you still think Mag is god tier even after the skewer nerfs?
I think with LGD's playstyle, it's god tier, because they play this kind of style where they pick a hard carry and they kind of turtle it out, or not even turtle. They just pick a hard carry for Sylar, and they just play cautious. And Mag is basically the king of cautious teams. And if you look, as soon as I said it, they pick Void, so that's their hard carry. And I remember the last time they had this combo where Void and Mag, so this synergizes really well.
Yeah, and something else they do along those lines that makes them really good with it is often they offensive tri-lane. We've seen that a lot, and Nyx Assassin could be the first building block of that with Mag mid. And they put the Void as the solo in the safe lane. Now, I don't know if they'll be able to do that this game, because there is a Bat and a Shadow Demon, so it could be something aggressive from MiTH, or even just a solo Bat can cause trouble for really any melee hero. But it's something we have seen from LGD, and if they can get away with that, it just makes life so easy, because they get the early RP and the early chrono, and then it's really hard for MiTH to take a fight.
Well, the thing about, like you said, it's hard for them to take a fight. And the NAs, you have to keep that in mind. NA is actually, I think, LGD's favorite hero, according to Brax. They love it. And anytime they can trade NA for a Batrider, they will. So they put NA on kind of the same or even higher tier than Batrider, when our Batrider is mostly by the other Chinese teams right now, it's regarded as the best hero. So it's interesting to see they take the NA, obviously. Not really interesting because it's LGD, but interesting for us to see.
Well, it's something I think we really saw MUFC use this hero more than anyone else. I'm sure LGD had been using it here and there in scrims, but as far as officials go, I saw MUFC use this hero, I think, almost every match in the GST Challenge. And since then, a lot of other Asian teams and even North American and European teams have really started to use it. So it's great to see that cross-pollination between the scenes. As far as official matches go, seeing some heroes that start off with one team suddenly spreading almost like a virus throughout the world. And he's a nasty creature, so I think it's fair to call him one.
I mean, playing versus most of these heroes in scrims and stuff, NA is arguably one of the most annoying heroes to play versus, just because you have to constantly play cautious. He has so much utility. He can gank. You can push with him. He's impossible to kill. You have all these kind of things, and that Impale, if he can, it's just always there. He's basically has every spell of his is amazing. It just scales well into the late game.
And it always seems like if the Nyx has any kind of a start, it's so painful for the enemy supports. Even if they're not getting picked off, they're buying sentry wards. They maybe have to go for an early gem and then hope they don't lose it. It's such a tax on the supports. That's the way I always describe it. But we go through the rest of the bans. Naga and Panda, two great heroes to disengage from team fights or force them if you want. Banned out by LGD. And MiTH Trust going for the Rubik here. A lot of single target. a bit light on the AoE, but they do have some ways to deal with Void. They have the Lasso, they've got the Dragon Knight stun until there's a BKB, and then even the Frost Dragon slow, and they have Demonic Purge, also Disruption, to help keep their team safe. So although they're single target, I feel like they have some ways to kind of deal with that Void.
Well, I know that LGD probably did watch other MiTH other games, and even in Dota 1 and SMM, they loved the Naga Siren hero. I know Lake Goals is kind of a famous Naga Siren in the scene over there with the Pinoy scene and the Malaysian scene and the Thailand scene, of course. So they obviously kind of respect ban that, and putting that, since MiTH is a team that plays a lot with the other teams in that area, they love Dragon Knight. And if you did watch SMM, like Dragon Knight was kind of the hero of that tournament. I mean, it was his first pick. It fit really well with all their playstyles. He just used to go the Lothar's build, and he just used to go around killing stuff and becoming a really hard carry.
I think we may see a Gyrocopter here. They've got great setup for him with Shadow Demon and Rubik. We could see an offlane Bat who does okay against Void. Although he won't do much to stop the push if Keeper of the Light is there. And a solo mid Dragon Knight, that's normally what we see out of MiTH is that solo mid DK. He can be played in the safe lane, but I feel it's kind of a waste of his potential. He's got a very strong laning phase with the bottle crowing, and that's something MiTH does like to do quite a bit of. No, they go for Windrunner. Another hero who's annoying for Void. Sure, you can get Chrono to remove evasion later on, but if you don't catch her in Chrono and she shackles a couple of your teammates together, it's going to make life difficult. So this team has a lot of spammable stuns. Dragon Tail, Shackle, Telekinesis, Lift, anything Rubik can steal, maybe a Chrono or, God forbid, a Nyx Impale. Even the Disruption, I mean, they've got an arsenal of stuns at their disposal. And LGD go for the Beastmaster. Xiao8's playing it. I'm curious, is it Yao offlane mag, or is he going solo mid? Normally we'd expect mid with the skewer nerfs, but your guess is
I
as
think
good
it's
as
still
mine.
going to be offlane. And I think MiTH is actually going to aggressive tri-lane and put a tri-lane up top. It just seems obvious with their heroes. I mean, it's probably going to be what? DK mid, a Bat Rider bottom, and then a Shadow Demon Rubik Windrunner top, possibly.
SD on the Windrunner. I believe he normally plays the solo for them.
Okay.
So looking to be... I'm not sure, actually. Maybe
It could be any. I
could be a
think they
jungle
are going to
bat.
aggressive, though. I mean, I think they should aggressive. Kotal NA is a combo. Like, it is a strong combo, but
But there's a Void there.
yeah. I mean, Void is also kind of a strong hero in that regard, but it's just that you should try and pressure the Void no matter what. You can't let Sylar just get free farm. And you can't let these two supports, which Kotal and NA, just get... You can't let an NA just endlessly pull. Because if NA gets levels, he's just annoying to deal with. And NA is really strong versus most of the heroes that MiTH have. So they don't want... More importantly than just stopping Void from farming, you don't want their supports to just be sitting there and pulling, which LGD love to do if you follow them in TI2 and so on.
They love their stacks. It looks like we may have a bit of a skirmish here top. We'll quickly introduce the players. TNK on that support. Well, good. We have lots of time to introduce them. TNK on the support, Shadow Demon. Sentry's already picked up. Ring of Protection. So yeah, it does really look like that aggressive tri-lane from MiTH Trust with probably the early Ring of Protection. Or Ring of Basilius to come out to help give them a little bit of extra armor. Abba on the Bat Rider. Looks like maybe a solo mid-bat. Maybe a solo safe lane. R5 on the Rubik. And last but not least, it's Lakel's. Actually, Lakel's probably going mid because he seems to be rushing a bottle.
Yeah, so the most popular build for that, and be rushing the bottle too. And yeah, I was just going for the regular Stout Shield and Branch Tango. And I think LGD, they know that they're going to be doing these kind of lanes. Like, it's kind of obvious that MiTH, if they pick Shadow Demon and they pick Rubik and they pick this Windrunner, it's kind of obvious they're going to be aggressive tri-laning.
Yeah, they have a lot of just physical harassment. Those auto attacks from Windrunner especially really hit hard. You mentioned LGD, captained, of course, by Xiao8 Directorate, as he was in the G1 LAN Finals. And LGD has looked pretty solid since then. They did fall to LGD International in the GST Challenge, but that was after a grueling 12-hour day of pretty much constant games, so something that can get the best of even a team like LGD that masses them out. DD on the Keeper of the Light. He's got observers, picked up Sylar. The Heart Carry has not been pulled too much, but he's playing that Void. We have a solo mid, Xiao8, Beastmaster, and last but not least, it is Yao in the off lane. Mag not the best 1v1, and it's going to be, with the new skewer changes versus Bat Rider, this could be tough for him. He may not die, but he's really going to struggle to farm.
I actually think Bat can kill Mag in this scenario just because of the skewer nerf, where before when you used to go on this mag, he used to skewer himself all the way back to the tower, and if you have like maybe 4 sticky stacks, so you really didn't want to stand behind him. But now Bat, if he can just get in that position, he can get behind him, and even if Mag skewers him, he's not going to be in the tower. And Bat relies on not getting too many tower hits on him, so this is going to be a really hard matchup for Yao.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for Yao, and like you said, the skewer nerf, that's going to be a big factor in this one. On the middle lane, it looks to be a fairly even matchup. That is one decked-out Dragonite. Man, I want those items. I don't normally goggle or Google over cosmetics, but that's some pretty sick stuff. Lakel's solo mid DK, but Xiaowei already 4 and 2. That Beastmaster is a really nice attack animation, and 5 base armor. Pretty good at trading blows. The base damage, actually quite a bit higher for Xiaowei. It's 63, so seems Xiaowei. God, when he plays that solo mid Beastmaster, it's just relentless. From like the level 1 mark, he's just spamming axes, auto-attacking you constantly, getting a point in Inner Beast to push the lane. It's going to be tough for Lakel's in this lane, but he should be able to get some farm, especially with Bottle Crowing. And then the tri-lane. What do you think about this? The camp has been dewarded, so pulls can come out. Are MiTH Trust going to be able to do much here?
The thing about tri-lane, obviously, is you factor in, okay, it's a Kodal and then a Void, but like you said, this Beastmaster, as soon as he gets levels, he's going to go and try and gank top with the smoke. And they're pulling this to the side, so this is actually pretty big. They're already, I think they've denied 1 creep already. So even though if it's 1 creep, it still adds up because it is a tri-lane, and 1 creep for a tri-lane is pretty big.
And also,
and they've actually, yeah.
And also it's making the LGD wave push. So they get a bunch of experience. They should all hit level 2 off of this.
And ideally, when you aggressive tri-lane, you want your safe lane, aka the Bat Rider in the scenario, to do really well. And he's just showing the power of how annoying this hero it is to play. I mean, he's up. It's not that big of CS, but all he needs is levels, and he needs the farm. And Bat Rider in this kind of where he's going to get free farm is really annoying to deal with.
Xiaoweight's headed bottom. There's a haste here. It's too early for him to really punish that Bat, I think, but it will open things up. He'll be close to level 6 by the time he pops this. Not quite, unless he gets a kill, but something he may look to dive that mid lane with. And if he gets an early kill mid, I think that's going to be real trouble for MiTH, because then it means a quick level 6 for him. And like you said, he'll be looking to come top, or even towards bottom lane. We've seen that from Ferrari on the solo mid Night Stalker. You know, sometimes they expect you to gank their tri lane, they'll sit back, and so you just TP or smoke gank the enemy safe lane, that solo player. Go for it. Abba's gonna go for it bottom. Yao doesn't have mana for skewer. I think he used the shockwave, and that's what's... Oh, he just gets it now. He'll get back to the tower safely, popping that wand, and now it's Abba who's a little bit overextended. That was great patience from now. He knew he had the wand, and Abba takes a lot more harassment than he would like. He went for early boots. He'll have to get a bottle after this because he doesn't really have mana for anything else. Smoke gank.
But that actually was not bad for... I mean, Yao, you said, he got away. And there wasn't enough sticky stacks. I think if he had maybe 4 or 5 stickies, he could have killed Yao, but there were not enough for him to dive like that.
Yeah, and that's something where, as much as Bat Rider should have the edge in this matchup, if he dies, we saw, I think it was Brax on the Bat Rider with the old mag in the GST challenge, where he overextended. It cost him mid lane. They go in on the Beastmaster, Disruption, and the Soul Catcher. The burst damage is good, but Xiaowei, nope, no shot. The lift, perfect chain stun for MiTH. And the nice thing about the offensive tri-lane with Windrunner, you can leave her alone and she'll still get something out of this lane. Has the boots. Rita Basilius coming soon. Great early movement from MiTH.
Yeah, and I think that should have been expected for Xiaowei there. Obviously, you can't really say he should have. But they have a ward in the lane, so they know where the supports are. And if their supports are missing, they should have seen the smoke. And SD might be in trouble here.
Yeah, there's the Impale. He's out of mana. Actually doesn't have a point in Windrun. But they don't know that, which is probably why they didn't get a little more aggressive with him. So he gets away.
Yeah, so I think Xiaowei should have expected the smoke gank there. And the supports are actually waiting up there in that cliff for quite a while. I think he kind of got greedy, thought he could run away in time, and he thought he could tank enough. But obviously it's a Shadow Demon, and Shadow Demon is really one of the best gankers because of Soul Catcher, at least at level 2.
Bat Rider has his bottle, but it's DK who wants his first. Xiaowei was going to contest that top rune, so Lakel's forced to pick it up. Would have loved to use the bottle and then for the charges, and it's actually running right by Xiaowei, straight towards the bottom lane. But there's nobody who can really catch this courier, and you know they're defensive tri-laning, so it could be dangerous in some cases. Should be fine here. The lanes, Xiaowei, despite that death, he's really farming well. 23 and 5, and just constantly pushing the lane. I mean, the tower's already taken 200 damage. In spite of that death, it's this solo mid Beastmaster, when you get the early points to Inner Beast, it's hard to control the creep wave and keep your tower safe.
Yep. And if you look at bottom, Yao is doing fine. I mean, So it's what, a few CS in between. It's not huge, and he hasn't died, which is most important. And this basically, I think, so far, LGD, if you think about it, they went even in their off lane. They're winning their safe lane right now. That's what I think, at least. Their supports are getting more levels, and they're getting more farm. So.
Yeah, you mentioned levels. It's a good time to take a look. Nyx Assassin, Keeper of the Light, both level 3. Actually, the supports look pretty even as far as experience goes, but the big thing is, once we start seeing them get those stacks up with Keeper of the Light Illuminate, he'll really pull ahead. Bottom lane, it's movement from Xiao8. As soon as he gets 6, he's on the MUT. And like I said, he loves to go for that safe lane solo. They get the Bat Rider. They answer back with a kill of their own. Now bottom lane going to be pretty comfortable for Mag, and also he's starting to get more levels in Skewer. Xiao8 may have given up a first blood, but that's not going to stop him from trying to direct this game, and oh god. Haste in for Xiao8. In a minute, we're probably going to see another gank.
Yeah. So the thing about the experience is, even though the supports are the same, if looking at the carry, you have the Void at level 5. What MiTH trusts is they're sharing all their experience with those 3 heroes. On the other hand, LGD is giving free, basically just solo experience to Sylar, and they're getting experience on their own. So, on the end, it's just stacking up. So I think MiTH should try. They're not going to do accomplish anything more on this level. I mean, their supports are already level 4, I think, on LGD. TD's is about to hit 4.
And like you said, they should try something else. Smoke picked up right now by R5.
So they should try and smoke mid. They can't really smoke bottom.
Yeah, now that, even with the level 2 skewer, and also because Beastmaster could counter gank that, as well as possibly Nyx Assassin, it's a little bit dangerous. Dragon Knight could do more to kill, I think, because of the matchup. And they go middle lane, they are smoked up, and Xiao8's going bottom. This guy. He already did use the haster, and it looks like.
Yeah, and Yao is actually 2 levels up of that gank, so this is pretty big. He's gonna have level, what? He's gonna have his mana boots soon, and as soon as he has the mana boots, he's gonna be trying to look for another gank, and Xiao8's walked all the way bottom again.
The courier's coming. It's got a buckler already. He's going for that early mech. They're gonna start pushing quickly. And that's really going to help get them extra gold. There's the Roar and Abba. Are they going to try and skewer him back? No, just RP. And no chance.
Yeah, I love this play by Xiao8. They're essentially, because of his ganks, they've won both. They've won the safe lane and they've won their off lane pretty hard. And Winner is getting chrono top.
Oh, top lane Windrunner does fall. And now Mana Burn onto TNK. Sylar gets the kill there, and he's a little bit behind Dragon Knight as far as farm goes, but you got to remember with this Void, his gold goes a lot further. He's got Inner Beast and 11 Power both backing him up. And now they're getting the bottom tower. God, that Inner Beast star is so freaking underrated. Such a powerful ability. Batrider TP's in. This tower is... No, Yao gets it. And then skewers bad backwards, but I think to his own demise. Roar's still down for a while. I don't think Yao can get away from this. Doesn't have mana for anything, really. No. Is there a way to cancel that TP? There's Flame Break it. No, he's too late. Oh, he waits until the last second, and he gets away. And now Xiao8 might turn this around. Fresh Axe is cooling down, has the wand charges. The rotation is here. The cavalry has arrived. Gandalf delivers the killing blow. And a long journey for these heroes, but they know the Void can farm on his own now.
That was a huge misplay there by Bat. I don't know what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to get another sticky off and then the napalm, which obviously he was trying to do, but it was way too late. So I don't know about that.
And now,
this Windrunner is so underleveled. I mean, she has same CS as the Void. They really didn't do anything effective. And Xiao8's gonna roar him in.
He's almost got a mech. He'll probably have it after this kill, assuming SD dies, which he does. The Illuminate comes in. And those supports, level 5 on Nyx Assassin, level 5 on Keeper of the Light, they're both almost level 6. You compare that to the Radiant supports, who were even for a little while, but you really see the stacks and pulls kicking in now, as well as getting that experience from the Bat kill. 4 on the Rubik, 4 on the Shadow Demon, and Rubik especially is a hero that really needs level 6. Even for the Shadow Demon, it's an important tool to slow down the Void and set up some ganks. They want to go in on Xiao8. He's not an easy kill, but killing him would be big. It will delay the mech if they can pull it off. No lasso, but there is a disruption here to try and stall it out. Are they going to go in or are they going to run away? They seem a little indecisive, trying to dodge that skewer. The RP catches TNK only, and now Yao still has the skewer. Xiao8's still alive. He's going to live in Abba, the one on the run. Will there be... No, he's still not skewering. Still waiting. Still biding this time. Salve up from Abba. Yao's going to go for this. There's no Firefly. There is a lasso. The support's on the way. The Rubik's trying to rejoin the fight. He's got a lift. He's got a Fade Bolt. Has Yao overextended? He has. He should drop here. He should drop here, but he gets the kill first. Oh, man. What a clutch stun by DDC.
That was actually a pretty Clowny fight there.
Clowny fight
But
is right.
the thing about that is, MiTH had 5 of their heroes mid, and they only got 1 kill, and they actually traded kills in that regard. While this Void and this Kodal was just free farming away top.
And worst of all, Beastmaster lived, which means the mech's, it's out now. It just needs 1 creep, there he gets it. And the early mech with Inner Beastar and Keeper of the Light, you can really start pushing. And MiTH, how much anti-push do they really have? Shadow Demon, 2 points in Shadow Poison, but it's not a great anti-push tool. Fade Bolt's only level 3. Windrunner, even her power shot's not max. Dragon Knight's decent, but it's a little dangerous to get that close to the creep wave to Flame Breath them. I'm not sure MiTH can do much to stop this push.
And also, I don't know why this Rubik, he didn't Fade Bolt in there.
Sylar ults top, the tower denied by Shadow Demon. Sylar went for the kill. I think a mistake from him, but they do get 1 on the Shadow Demon. The mech being delivered right now to Xiao 8, but he doesn't have it yet. Could make a difference. We'll have to see. Abba dropping low. Dragon Knight getting focused, surrounded, and they're like ants. They're just all over him. Oh, Gulliver wants out, but the little people are tying him up in knots, and he's gonna go down here. He falls. And now Yao diving the base. He's got another shockwave. He gets the kill. 4 heroes dead. MiTH Trust. They really made a strong showing on day 1, coming out of that Group E, but LGD is looking to be a bit too much for them.
Yep. This was just their whole the way that Xiao Wei just went around and ganked the bottom lane just effectively won them this game. He got Yao so much farm, and Yao's all the way up to level 10, and he's going to be level 11 soon, and he has his blink as well.
He's insanely high
While
level.
Sylar was just farming away top, so. The problem with this aggressive tri-lane is if you don't win your other lanes hard enough and you just effectively just get under level, it's not worth it. So and that's exactly what happened. They didn't win their other lanes hard enough and they just lost.
And it's going to be really hard to come back. LGD have the Roshan advantage. They've got this highly level Beastmaster who goes back for Call of the Wild, so now it's going to give them extra map control. They've already got 2 tier 1s. MiTH Trust have 0. It's a good time to check the gold graph, as depressing as it might be, and it is a huge lead for LGD. The Chinese representatives at the Asia looking pretty solid here. They did lose to MUFC on day 1, and that would set up a very interesting grand finals if they go on to win this. The rematch with MUFC actually getting the better of them, and MUFC looking a little bit shaky, I gotta say, versus Orange, but did pull out the win in the end. So that could be interesting. We're not there yet, though, but it's a scary combo. It's just that big death ball, roar to set up the initial engagement, and then your RP with a blink coming soon, only 500 gold away on that. And then Void, who gets empowered and almost has a Battle Fury. I feel it's up to LGD to throw this game almost, because even Lakel's is not going for a hard carry build. He's going for drums, it looks like. No early Midas, no early Shadow Blade. So if they're going to come back, where would the comeback even come from? There's no blink on Batrider either.
Yeah. I do think if MiTH try to get more kills on the top lane, this could have been better if they at least try to kill this Kodal or Ney at least once, but they didn't get any kill, so they essentially didn't accomplish anything on it, except they helped this winner a bit, and they helped gank mid, but that's all their movement really was, and they had that failed gank mid, obviously, so.
And like you said, it's Sylar not really being in too many of the fights, so when he does fight, his team comes to him. He's never asked to really come join the team, so he's getting a lot of farm, keeping up with the Dragon Knight, and once the Battle Fury comes out, he'll be way ahead. He's also got the kill and tower gold in his favor. Dragon Knight has a Death, Void, 2-0-2. And Dragon Knight, he's a pretty underrated late game carry, but I think Void is one of the heroes that really gives him fits. With that Chrono and Bash, it's just hard to sit there and do the damage, and Void has enough DPS to bring him down, so it's a tough position right now for MiTH. And what makes it worse is, can they ever push, because there's a Keeper of the Light. I just don't know how they're going to get any gold.
Yeah, there's so much spam on LGD. They have axes, they have the shockwave, they have their Kodal, they have the impale, they have everything. So they have all this like AoE spam from away, so they can essentially just keep spamming the lanes out without ever getting in trouble.
R5 steals the level 4 Illuminate. Well, that'll give MiTH some spam of their own, but now the blink comes a mag. That's one way to just bypass it. This is your siege breaker, basically, for them. Shall we go now going for the Aghanims? This is, it's exactly what we saw. I think it was in the G1 match versus, I think it was DK? Or no, IG. This was their game versus IG, where he went for the solo mid Beastmaster. They had the offlane mag, granted a bit stronger. It's just the early mech, and then the Ags, and it's just constant map control and aggression. Sylar has joined this fight. Chrono's just the Rubik, but there's a great shackle. Can Rubik steal Chrono in time? He does, but he gets killed off by the last auto attack. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, RP catching out 2. 3 heroes dead, and once these heroes get kills, Sam, they're gonna push.
Yep. And the problem is this DK, Dragon Knight is a hero. If you put him in this position, you expect him to kind of push with Dragon form, but since of all their spam, he just hasn't been useful at all. He hasn't really ganked also, because he's obviously a Dragon Knight, he's not a Beastmaster. So he didn't have much mobility, and they didn't have a mid-hero, a Beastmaster that could go around helping their other lanes. And that's what Xiaowei did exceptionally well. And Salar's 200, 300 gold away from his Battle 3.
You know, I actually didn't realize just how bad it was. I saw the gold graph, and it looked quite bleak, but 14-2. Everybody on MiTH Trust. Is there anybody even positive in this game on their team? Dragon Knights, no. 0 heroes positive. Everybody's been shut down, and you know, it's like you said, it's not just ganking that one lane bottom. Xiaowe's been all over the place. He's pressured every single lane pretty much. We even saw him show up top at one point. And MiTH Trust, they don't have that ultra hard carry. DK's a strong late game hero. He's not, you know, he's not the strongest carry in the game by any means. Ugh. I don't know how they come back from this. This looks really bad for MiTH.
Yep. I think LGD they're just gonna Kotal as Beastmaster stacking the Ancients. So he's still quite far from the Aghanims, but he's just gonna go Gem. And what he's gonna do is just gonna go around dewarding everything possible.
Uh-oh, TNK sees him. He wants a piece of this, but now Yao's here. And suddenly it's not a great fight, or maybe it is. Yao waiting on the high ground, has the skewer. Starts with the shockwave. That should discourage them from chasing this. And it looks like it will. MiTH wisely not walking up that hill, because guess who just arrived? The Nyx Assassin, as well as the Keeper of the Light. And you mentioned you gotta buy sentries when you're up against Nyx. We do see one mid on the high ground, but that's it. They're quite poor. I don't know if they can even afford more, but that's it. That's all they have. Fortunately, Nyx is coming in mid. Will they actually see him? RP on 3. Oh god, Illuminate being channeled. Here comes the end times. MiTH to fall. And then the chase is on. They're just getting routed. And Sylar strolls in. He wants a piece of the action. Roar on Lakel's. What a clinical dissection of MiTH. Just painful to watch, really.
Yeah. What I would have done there with Sylar is just chrono my entire team so I can chaos that kill, but he's a team player.
Oh, Sylar. You've much to learn, young Padawan. You and your team play.
Yep, so that was a sick team fight there. I mean, they got every spell on every hero but this Shadow Demon. Did they kill? Actually, who didn't they get? Bat Rider, so.
Oh, they wanted to get Shadow Demon, but not quite able to do so. The Skewer just narrowly missing. Now they're pushing down the tier 2. And when you have a Beastmaster with the gem, it is so bad to fall behind to him. With the Hawk, the gem, and the map control. And it's not just him, it's the Nyx Assassin too. Leaving the base for MiTH is going to be one of the scariest things ever.
Yeah. That at least their one hope is he does have his blinks some close, but this Rubik is taking all the creeps. He's gonna try and farm this,
I think.
But they're not gonna let him.
This is what I meant with the map control. TDC's already here. Xiaowei, they're farming the enemy jungle. It's LGD. They don't just take out towers. They then control all the area around it. They're really good about that. R5 gets caught. He'll drop. And it's too easy. The kills come fast and furious. Anyone who gets caught by pretty much any hero aside from a solo Coddle is dead.
I'm really surprised. MiTH is a team that they don't pick this kind of aggressive lineup. They usually, based on at least the games I've seen them from Dota 1 and Dota 2, I haven't seen many games from them for Dota 2 besides the tournament, but based on their Dota 1 games, they love picking Leiko as a hard carry and then just having him farm. Kind of similar to an LGD playstyle, except they roam a lot more.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised as well that, I mean, Dragon Knight, we see him solo mid a lot, especially in Southeast Asia. It's a common thing to do, but like you said, he's more known for playing those hard. Also, well known for sort of a split push. You know, having heroes like Prophet and Lone Druid, spreading the map, angling for late game, and trying to pull an enemy team apart. And when LGD go team fight with their lineup, which we saw pretty early was the plan, split push is one of the ways to try and counter that, especially with a Prophet if you get a Hex early. But they just didn't go that route. They didn't go with what we're used to seeing from them. I don't know how they've been playing at the event. I didn't actually cast any of their games, so maybe it's an adjustment to their playstyle in general, or maybe this game is just sort of a blip in the radar. But whatever the choice was, it's 19-2. It clearly isn't working.
Well, I mean, that was the Dota 1 metagame, so how you play Dota 2 is kind of different. You can't... DK mid isn't that strong. Like, these kind of heroes are just stronger heroes than Dragon Knight in Dota 2, so you can't exactly play that kind of metagame, which they are playing right now. And I hate using that word metagame, but they're smoked. They know that they're going to Roche, but the sad part is they can't really stop this.
And if
LGD
they
has all their ultimates up.
and if they die here, this may be Rax. I mean, they have buybacks, I suppose. No, actually they don't. Nobody has buyback. Everybody on the LGD squad does though, and they better back off right now, or this is going to be big trouble for them. And they will do so. Do LGD even need to wait? I think they might just be able to force a fight now and win the game.
They can just push. There's nothing. The problem is, MiTH do have kind of the spamming out. And they don't have a pipe yet, so NA is actually going for the pipe. So DDC has the Hood of Defiance. He's going to try and get the headdress. So they still do have a lot of spam on this mid trust. They have what, Flame Break, they have Flame Breath, they have Flame Break. They have the Winner Power Shot, so the Fade Bolt. So there's a lot of spam on both these teams. And one of the teams is going to try and get the pipe, and which is obviously LGD, because MiTH is never going to farm any pipe by the next 20 minutes.
Right. And there's no physical damage because Dragon Knight doesn't have any items, really. He's just got an Ogre Club Treads Embracer. It's okay, but it's not comparing to a Void with Empower, who's hitting about twice as hard as him, and that's before bashes come into play. LGD is going to look basically invulnerable. I'll be surprised if their HP bars even drop unless they're diving the tier 4s.
Yep. And Brass always just tells me about this, at least in the Chinese team. They push only when they can get a 20k gold advantage. And if you look at the gold chart, it's close to 20k. Actually is 20k. So we're going to hope to see this push soon.
Now, how do they calculate that? Is it some quick mental math? Just instincts?
They're Chinese. I'm sure they calculated every creep they've killed, every tower they've done, every ancient stack.
Well, Sam, this tells me...
Wait. Let's be honest. They don't do ancients, do they?
They do from time to time, but yeah, we see some stacked ancients here. Haven't been finished though. God, LGD so inefficient, really. But yeah, you know, you'd better keep on going to class, man, if you want to, be able to do that kind of math craft in the middle of a heated game like this. So we'll see. The push coming mid, the siege begins. This might take a while.
Usually, if you can get your pipe and your mech up and you get your core items, it's and the other team has none of those items. It's probably a 20k gold lead. So that's how they usually play the tournament.
And they have more than that. They've got the 4-staff Necro 1 on the Keeper of the Light. That's pretty disgusting farm. The pipe's not actually here yet. Haven't quite farmed it, but BKB up on the Void and Aegis and level 13. Doesn't have the level 3 Chrono, but otherwise pretty much as big as he's going to get. Rubik has managed to steal Wild Axes. That'll slow this down, but LGD are tanky enough to just kind of body their way into the tower. Great Shackle onto. They're going to need more of those if they hope to turn this fight. Low, Abba blinks in, but immediately gets Spike Carapace by the Firefly damage he was doing to that Nerubian. And that's it. They had a decent shot at maybe getting a pick-off or two, but with that well-timed Spike Carapace, it's looking bad. It's looking really, really freaking bad. Cloudy with a chance of rain, tornadoes, thunderstorms, and earthquakes, and LGD just mow down MiTH Trust, mow down the opposition. And this might just be game.
Yep. It's over. Everyone is dead on Mitch, and we're going to be expecting the GG sometime soon.
You said 20k gold lead. We're right at that point. Right on, hit the nail on the head, really. Ags up on Shao 8, so the roar coming off cooldown every 45 seconds. This is scary. I know I didn't get to see the game versus MUC, so I'm not sure how they lost. Maybe you caught it. Another Shackle on 2. Poor SD. If only he had more items and his team was a little bit more farm. Because he is nailing these. And those 2 hero Shackles, something LGD do try and dodge. They purge Sylar, and then he gets 4-staffed away. Those early items make a big difference. Lasso on Yao. They may get the pick off. The tower in deny range. LGD. They leave Yao to the wolves and say, let's get out of here, man.
Yeah. MUFC actually, if you looked at the draft, they actually had a really unique kind of draft. They picked a kind of European pick style before TI2. Like, you had the Shadow Demon Leshrac mid. That was a really popular lane in Europe, I think, in June, July, etc.
Yeah, and even Kunkka sometimes, just like those really powerful dual lanes.
So they had that dual lane mid, and they had a off lane. I think it was the Furion, and that was obviously really popular back then as well. And they had a safe lane Silver Bear farming with, I think, a jungle hero. I forgot exactly, but it was kind of this old playstyle, and they just pushed. And LGD had the kind of like nuanced picks of the Luna and the NA and the Night Stalker. But if you realize, like, those heroes are really single target, and besides the Luna, of course, and they just kind of push with the mech and the 13-minute, I think, Radiance on HY, and that's exactly how they won. They could. I mean, I think LGD like had a few bad fights and they got caught out of position, but they couldn't really do anything at all. Just the Radiance.
Yeah, it's actually like you said, it's what we saw a lot in the Western scene. Was there was a point, and I think MTW is a team who did this a lot, where they just and Navi when they were sort of I guess like around the middle of the year before they start to slump head into the international too, they would find kills and that would set up the pushes, but it was more about just having heroes that were really good at knocking down your towers and then map controlling. You might not have the late game advantage with equal gold, but you'd always just be ahead and you'd win that way. Like you said, the early mech, the early pipe, maybe BKBs or Necrobooks, whatever it takes to basically muscle your way into the base, just outfarm your opponents and angle for late game. It's almost, I guess, fair to call it kind of starvation Dota, and that's sort of what we're seeing out of LGD with, more of it's different picks, but it's accomplishing the same kind of style.
LGD style is a lot more. You have to. They utilize. I think they don't really go and push just 5 early, compared to like maybe LGD International, unless they get the picks. Obviously,
Right.
with Luna, they go push as 5. With this kind of lineup, they just try and keep all the lanes pushed out, and they have so much spam, and then they just wait for their hard carry to get. And they have such a beefy hard carry with this Beastmaster and the Void and then Power. So
Yeah,
it's hard for teams like this.
Like you said, with this LGD team, it's not the same timing at all. The international squad, Luna hit 7 and they 5-man. Like, we saw that almost every game in the challenge. It's a much later time with LGD, and they seem to favor the harder carries, like the Void, a little bit more for Sylar. They're going to go in on TNK. This is probably it. Chrono on 2. That should be bad news for Myth, and yeah, Hero's just melting left, right, and center. Steals the roar, even to the bitter end. R5 making some small, nice plays, but it's too much. I gotta say, this best of 1, I'm not a huge fan, but it does look like LGD just clearly have Myth's number this game.
Yeah, so the fantasy GG timing by Myth. Shout out to Heyoka for teaching me that. But,
Yeah, hey, you're part of Team Liquid now. You gotta at least have a passing knowledge of StarCraft.
well, I did watch a while back then, but he just kind of reminded me.
He's probably spamming you with StarCraft references now. So, as this game wraps up, it looks like the die has been cast. The grand finals are pretty much set. The stage is there. It's the MUFC versus LGD rematch. It will be a best out of 3. In the third place decider match, it'll be Arge versus Myth Trust. I'm excited for both of these games. I think it's going to be an epic chess match, especially LGD versus MUFC. And I'm glad we got a best out of 3. It would be such a shame if they only played 1 game in the grand finals. So, looking forward to those games. And you said you're not sleepy, right? You're staying up for everything.
Yeah, of course. And that's actually, like I said, I don't know why it's best of 1. It seems really stupid.
It would be okay for me if it was like a small LAN tournament, but this is a big one. It's $30,000 prize pool. It's not quite, some of the Chinese LANs like G League and G1, but it's damn close for all that. Plus, the qualifying stages for this tournament were really long and drawn out. Like, every country had their own individual qualifiers. It all happened over the course of 5 or 6 months. It's not ideal. I mean, it's got to be frustrating for a team like Myth to actually win their group and then be stuck in this position. I am waiting for the final scoreboard, but we may not get one since there's 2 players failing to disconnect.
I mean, there's only like 4 teams in the actual playoffs, so I don't know why there wouldn't be time for best of 3 even in loser brackets, so it just seems retarded. I don't know what the admins were thinking.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, to be perfectly frank, but it's out of our control. We're only casting this game. We're not running the tournament, so it kind of is what it is to a certain extent. Okay, Sam, I'm going to pick your brain. I'm going to try and wait for the creeps to die, or for the throne to die, so that we can get that final scoreboard for Bruno and for Dota Academy. But while we wait, we look at the brackets. MUC versus LGD in a best out of 3. We'll talk about that next, but the 3rd, 4th place decider match, which is our next game. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Orange versus Myth Trust. And Orange, of course, not having Mushi, so not the full roster.
I think it's going to be Orange by quite a big margin, just because I don't think Myth has played enough Dota 2, and I know Orange has been playing a lot of Dota 2. I mean, they've played for so long, so...
Well, as the throne dies, I'll turn my attention to the best out of 3 grand finals. Thoughts, Bulba, on LGD versus MUFC in the best out of 3?
I think LGD is not going to play for the same kind of trick. I know I spoke to Brax about this too, and he said they're kind of flustered, I think. Just out of nowhere, they just had this Syllabert, whatever, cheese stuff. And not really a cheese, it was just kind of this pushing early that they didn't really expect. So I think if it goes to best of 3, they're going to, even if they do that to lose the first game to that, they're they're just gonna expect that. I know that MUFC kind of loves that kind of play style as well. They love either pushing early or just kind of turtling out with heroes like Tinker and whatever. So.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Sam, thank you very much for joining me. Before we wrap up this cast, any shout-outs, any closing words, anything you want to promote?
Shout out to my team, Team Liquid, the sponsors, Shiny Things, Razer, and Twitch. And special shout out to Charlie Yang and Braxton Paulson and Ike Smite.
And, of course, Barracuda, which is one of your new sponsors as well.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, forgive me. Barracuda.
You're better than Fluff, though. Fluff, I had to, like, pull the sponsors' names out of him. But, yeah, thank you very much for joining me, guys. Of course, that was Boba of Team Liquid joining me for this cast. We do have more games coming up, but that does conclude our semifinal action. We now move to the third, fourth place decider, followed by the grand finals. The third, fourth place decider is next. It's Arj versus MiTH Trust, and then the last match for today will be a best out of 3 MUFC versus LGD. Round 2, fight. We'll be back after these messages with the next match. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned. More action coming your way from the Asia.